Hello, students. Good morning, all of you. Today, I, Rabindra Mohan Misra from Sri Jagdamba Sanskrit College, Batho, am taking the class of Shastri second. Yesterday and day before yesterday, we have seen the theme or summary of the novel The Old Man and the She. Today we see the character sketch of Santiago. It is also very important for our coming examination. That is why today we learn character sketch of Santiago. The central character is an old Cuban fisherman named Santiago who has not caught a fish for 84 days. The family of his apprentice Manolin has forced the boy to leave the old fisherman. The Manolin continues to support him with food and bait. Santiago is a mentor to the boy who cherishes the old man and the life lessons he imparts. Convinced that his luck must change, Santiago takes his escape far out into the deep waters of the Gulf Stream, where he soon hooks a giant marlin. With all his great experience and strength, he struggles with the fish for 3 days, admiring its strength, dignity, and faithfulness to its identity. Its destiny is as true as Santiago's as a fisherman. He finally reels the marlin in and lashes it to his boat. However, Santiago's exhausting effort goes for naught. Sharks are down to the tethered marlin, and although Santiago manages to kill a few, the sharks eat the fish, leaving beyond only its skeleton. After returning to the harbor, the discouraged Santiago goes to his home to sleep. In the meantime, others see the skeleton tied to his boat and are amazed. A concerned Manolin is relieved to find Santiago alive, and the two agree to go fishing together. Santiago is the protagonist of the novella. He, at the beginning of the book, has not caught anything for 84 days. The novella follows Santiago's quest for the great catch that will save his career. Santiago endures a great struggle with uncommonly large and noble marlin, only to lose the fish to rapacious sharks on his way back to land. Despite this loss, Santiago ends the novel with his spirit undefeated. Depending on our reading of the novel, Santiago represents Hemingway himself, searching for his next great book, and every man heroic in the face of the human tragedy, or the Oedipal male unconscious trying to slay his father, the Merlin, in order to sexually possess his mother, the she. Santiago suffers terribly throughout the old man and the she. In the opening page of the book, he has gone 84 days without catching a fish and has become the laughing stock of his small village. He then endures a long and grueling struggle with the Merlin, only to see his trophy catch destroyed by sharks. Yet the destruction enables the old man to undergo a remarkable transformation, and he raised triumph and renewed life from his seeming defeat. After all, Santiago is an old man whose physical existence is almost over, but we, the reader, is assured that Santiago will persist through Melonin, who, like a disciple, awaits the old man's teaching and will make use of those lessons long after his teacher has died. Thus, Santiago manages perhaps the most miraculous feat of all. He finds a way to prolong his life after death. Santiago's commitment to sailing out farther than any fisherman has before, to where the big fish promised to be, testifies to the depth of his pride. Yet it also shows his determination to change his luck. Later, after the sharks have destroyed his prize Merlin, Santiago chastises himself for his hubris, exaggerated pride, claiming that it has ruined both the Merlin and himself. For Santiago's pride also enables him to achieve his most true and complete self. Furthermore, it helps him earn the deeper respect of the village fishermen and secure him the prized accompanist of the boy. He knows that he will never have to endure such an epic struggle again. Santiago's pride is what enables him to endure, and it is perhaps endurance that matters more in Hemingway's conception of the world, a world in which death and destruction, as part of the natural order of things, are unavoidable. Hemingway seems to believe that there are only two options: defeat or endurance until destruction. Santiago clearly chooses the latter. His stoic determination is mythic, nearly Christ like in proportion. For 3 days, he holds fast to the line that links him to the fish, even though it cuts deeply into his palms, causes a crippling cramp in his left hand, and ruins his back. This physical pain allows Santiago to forge a connection with the Merlin that goes beyond the literal line of the line, link of the line. His bodily aches attest to the fact that he is well matched, that the fish is a worthy opponent, and that he himself, because he is able to fight so hard, is a worthy fisherman. This connectedness to the world around him eventually elevates Santiago beyond what would otherwise be his defeat. Like Christ, to whom Santiago is unashamedly compared at the end of the novella, the old man's physical suffering leads to be a more significant spiritual triumph. The routines of life in a Cuban fishing village are evoked in the very opening pages with a characteristic economy of language. The stripped down existence of the fisherman Santiago is crafted in a spare elemental style that is as eloquently dismissive as a shrug of the old man's powerful soldiers. With age and luck now against him, Santiago knows he must row out beyond all people, away from land and into the Gulf Stream, where one last drama would be played out in an empty arena of sea and sky. Hemingway was famously fascinated with ideas of men proving their worth by facing and overcoming the challenges of nature. When the old man hooks a marlin longer than his boat, he is tested to the limits as he walks the line with bleeding hands in an effort to bring it close enough to harpoon. Through his struggle, Santiago demonstrates the ability of the human spirit to endure hardship and suffering in order to win. It is also his deep love and knowledge of the sea in its impassive cruelty and beneficence that allows him to prevail. The essential physicality of the story, the smells of tar and salt and fish blood, the cramp and nausea and blind exhaustion of the old man, the terrifying death spasms of the great fish is set against the ethereal qualities of dazzling light and water, isolation, and the swelling motion of the sea. And through it all, the narrative is constantly tugging and reeling a little more and then pulling again, all in tandem with the old man's struggle